After the last song I reacted to by Ren, I am very excited to react to this song. While I, didn't maybe share the group opinion on the Cujo beatdown, my love for Ren is always going to be huge. And again, I would not be doing what I do for were it not for Ren making music. That's truly 100% the way I think. I've found this wonderful community of people that want to listen to music with me because Ren wrote this song called Hi Ren, and to me that's really, really cool, and I feel like I owe a huge gratitude to that, even if I wasn't a big, huge, mega fan of the Cujo beatdown. Money Ties, I'm really excited to listen to because it's got nothing to do with whatever that last subject was all about. I'm eager to see him collaborate with another artist as well. I really think his collaboration pieces are all amazing. And again, the team he keeps with him, they just really put out such a high quality everything. Besides the point, I don't know if this is intended to tie into the Money Games, which I think it's kind of funny because it's Money Ties, and I'm not sure if it ties in, but we will see. Guys, I love you. And before I hit the play button, it's just very important to me that you know that you are awesome, that you are valuable, that you are important, that you matter, that you are deserving of love, and that I am abundantly grateful for even a moment of your time. If you like what you see, feel free to hit the like and the subscribe button. It goes a long way to help me out. If you really like what you see, hang out with us on Twitch. Those people over there are the best people, and we would just love to spend some time with you. Guys, without further ado, Ren, Money Ties, here we go.
Godliness with contentment is great gain, for we brought nothing into the world, and we cannot take anything out of the world. But if we have food and clothing, with these we will be content. But those who desire to be rich fall into temptation, into a snare, into many senseless and harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction. For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evils. It is through this craving that some have wandered away from the path and pierced themselves with the many pangs of greed.
Money makes
Anybody know where that comes from?
money makes the world go round. Money makes a pure man lawless, proud. Money makes a man's verb consummate the noun. Cause an action to a thing is inspired by the pound or the dollar. False prophet, preach profit and we follow. When the scholar teach dishonor, that's a bitter pill to swallow. The biggest bank robber are the banks and the politicians, but judiciary are whores. What a shock when we lose.
Golly. Yo. I think I'm going to see if he put the lyrics in here because I just want to reference them. Did he post it? Yes, he did. All right. As always, here's the lyrics. Don't you love a guy that posts the lyrics? All right. I'm going to put those into a sticky note real quick. That was me scripting. Here we go. Sorry, guys, about that little delay. I should have thought of that up front. Now I got a sticky note so we can check this out. There was just something. Money makes a man's verb consummate the noun. Because an action to a thing is inspired by the pound or dollar.
Themselves with the many pangs of greed.
Money makes the world go round. Money makes a pure man lawless, proud. Money makes a man's verb consummate the noun. Cause an action to a thing is inspired by the pound or the dollar. False prophet, preach profit and we follow. When the scholar teach dishonor, that's a bitter pill to swallow. The biggest bank robber are the banks and the politicians, but judiciary are whores. What a shock when we lose.
So what's super interesting to me about that are the biggest bank robber are the banks and the politicians, but judiciary are whores. What a shocker. Like, I think it's so interesting that he comments on the fact that the biggest bank robber are the banks and the politicians. Cause like, as a guy that works I work for a privately owned bank, so I am kind of lucky in that regard. But I would totally agree, as a person that's been in the financial industry for most of his life, that was gnarly. And again, very poignant. And I love the music. Like, it's kind of got this, I don't want to say, I want to say both hi-fi and lo-fi, but just this kind of boom bap sound, right? Like simple samples.
The world go round.
Like this could be played with a drum beat and a guitar. I'm really hoping that they do an acoustic version of this because I can already hear it in my head.
Money makes a pure man, lawless, proud. Money makes a man's verb consummate the noun. Cause an action to a thing is inspired by the pound or the dollar. False prophet, preach profit and we follow. When the scholar teach dishonor, that's a bit the pill to swallow. The biggest bank robber are the banks and the politicians, but judiciary are whores, what a shock. When we lose sight of live and let live, forget your soul is made much richer by the love that you give. If you're living just to make a living, that's all that is. And when you're lying, slowly dying, will you die with a grin? Now digging up.
I really love that, and I hope everybody decides that they want to do that. When we lose sight of live and let live, forget your soul is made much richer by the love that you give. Like, I try very hard in all of my videos to make sure that I express my love for people, and I hope that perhaps, you know, in doing so, other people having felt a sense of feeling loved are more likely to share love, right? That's just a thing I feel called to. But this concept of when we lose sight of live and let live, I just really love that he's singing into that. And if, I honestly, if you're just living to make a living, that's all that there is. And when you're lying, slowly dying, will you look back and grin? There is that idea of like when you, and I'm kind of in this phase of life right now where I'm looking back at my life and kind of wondering what I've made of it. And as I'm progressing to move forward, it's kind of hitting me deep here. In ways different than just money, but it kind of all hedges from money, right? Like it all kind of starts there.
The root of evil, money too like a blade. You can slice across the jugular or carve and create. But when the money ain't the means, but the means is the money, you start to compromise ideals for dollars, morals get bloody. Now let me...
Yes, when the money for means and means for money. That whole concept of when you don't work to live, you live to work, right? And when that flips and that switches, your life sucks and everything about your life sucks. And you start wondering like what any of it's really worth. And I can tell you as a person that's made a lot of money in points of my life and not a lot of money at other points in my life, I've been equally miserable in both of them. The problems were just different, but they were equally miserable. So I think so much of it really does just boil down to what's in here, right? Like what's in here and what we're willing to do out there.
Let me tell you a little story about a boy named Bren. Born March 1990 in the Celtic Welsh ends. We didn't have much, but mum and dad, they made enough to put hot meals on the table, fill our bellies full of love. A little sister fell into the picture. Oh my God, we loved her, made our family richer. Then we both got older, world a little colder. Life, it had a way of chipping away at that shoulder. I held her and I told her, hierarchy, status exists. Sometimes the purity of youth gets snatched, leaving you stripped. You'll learn that love is not enough, it's not a world for a kid. So toughen up and buckle up because it's bumpy as shit. And they'll be...
Bro. Love is not enough. It's kind of sad to say that, right? And like this concept that he's having this conversation with his little sister, kind of, commenting on like you'll learn that love is not a luff. Love is not a luff. It's not a world for a kid. So toughen up and buckle up because it's bumpy as shit. Like, I sometimes wonder if I could go back and give myself advice, like as a child, if giving me that kind of advice would have actually prepared me, or if no matter what, you're just not going to be able to be prepared when these overwhelming things of the world kind of happen. And, this, I don't know if he ever actually had that conversation with his sister, right? Like, I don't know if this is more of a hypothetical or an imagined conversation. But when I think about it, it kind of makes me wonder if knowing what I know now, if I could have gone back and like prepped me somehow, is there any possible way I could have, or am I just going to have to deal with the bumps, right? It's a very interesting concept.
Be those who take advantage of the light in your soul, and there'll be times you feel the cup you're filling leaking with holes, and that dark can get much darker. We all must grow old, but listen up, my little sister, hold these words to your close. Keep that kind heart kind, humankind are in need. Never ever let this world make you bitter like me, because this
I want to hear that piano again. That
kind, humankind are in need. Never ever let this world make you bitter like me, because this world needs love, and love it leaks from you, see. Sis, this world needs light, and you're the brightest I see. I see your wings have feather more than ever. Mine were torn by my oppressor. Sickness scorn me, but whatever. By your side we fly together. Give me flight when I could never. A releasing of the pressure, and the pressure makes a diamond. I will shine with you forever. Fuck greed, fuck depression, fuck bullies, fuck the jealous. Fuck every man who made you feel less than a treasure. And fuck a world that makes us feel small. Fuck the forces that divide us. Now's the time to stand tall, because money makes the world go round. Money makes the sick boy sicker somehow. Money gets a man mug punched in his mouth. Money run the gang thug, drug money plow. Money makes open case close. Money bend law, make war, make ghosts. Money gives a poor man hope. Money saves lives, takes lives, money both. Money isn't, money's just that. Money's just a concept, people are trying. Tax up the poor man, feed up the fire. Money's just cash.
Dude, he's really cooking there at the end, you know? And honestly, like, I'm kind of thinking about my own conversations with my own little sister in this last part here. And I think a lot of it is just because my sister and I have gone through a lot of pretty similar things. And, you know, whether it's just discussion of relationships, whether it's discussion of finances, whether it's discussion of just needing somebody to be there, right? Like, she and I have found ourselves in a unique position to be able to kind of be there for one another. And you know, this concept of him talking things out to her and then just telling her, you know, to keep her heart. And, you know, because the world needs the brightness. I would actually just kind of like to say that to my own little sister, is like, as a person that's lived through the portion of life I have, being slightly ahead of her, and a little bit further ahead of the process of hardship, I, you know, would like to kind of similarly reflect these things, and not just to my sister, but to anybody, you know, like, it really is a necessity that we are good to the world if we want to see anything become better. And sometimes, you know, that means doing hard things that are difficult because they're right. And sometimes that means ignoring our own greed and selfishness, you know? And it's crazy because we live in a world where that's so counterintuitive, and we shouldn't do that because it's going to hurt ourselves. But I feel like it doesn't happen unless more and more people are willing to contribute to the betterment of society through, you know, kind of denying themselves in carnal ways or you know, desires of grief and you know, I don't know. Greed, not grief. I said grief. This whole thing, this line right here, I'm not gonna just dump F words, but it really stands out. And I like that he calls into attention all of these things because they are so linked, right? Anybody that's been depressed can tell you many people are depressed because of money. Either they, you know, don't have enough of it, or they have too much of it and it's still not enough. And you know, I really, really, really like this. And again, as a person whose whole profession, his whole life has been in the financial industry, this one hits really deep. And because to me, finances are what I do for a living, it hits kind of on a deeper level that touches in other ways, because to me, finance is more than just this concept, you know? It's my living. It's the way I am able to maneuver in the world, because I talk about money. And so again, this whole thing, it's a really big thing. I really like the way he's approaching this. And while it doesn't necessarily feel like a money game, It's a comment on the game of money. It all ties in.
Money's just a concept. People
Thank
are
you,
trying.
Scarlett.
Tax up the poor man, feed up the fire. Money's just cash. Take money, take money, take money, take.
What's up, Yuck?
Money, fake, money, fake, money, fake. Money ties, money ties, money ties, ayy. Money lies, money lies, money lies, ayy.
This song was a banger, guys. Again, the concepts put into it, I'm going to let him finish just because sometimes he be doing stuff. Glad I did that. No people, no profit. And notice, he didn't spell profit with an F. It wasn't, it was profit as in prophecy, not profit as in money. That was wonderful. I really liked that, guys. That was a banger. And again, it really speaks into a lot of different things. Because again, I think money is so deeply tied into people's emotional systems. It's so deeply tied into people's family structures. So many of the things we've observed our families arguing about, so many of the things that we've seen wars over, so many of the things that we've had problems with our spouses about, you know, stabbings, killings, whatever, all of that stuff, it ties into money, and all of that stuff ties into greed, and the way all of those things make one feel can be depressing. And it's really crazy when you start doing the flow chart of money. But anyways, guys, I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for the positivity you show both to me and to one another. Continue to be the best. And until I see you next, be introspective and consider the birds. Goodbye.